Hey, did you hear that the new ZR1 is gonna be unveiled? Yeah, I'm kinda scared that they're gonna make it some hybrid or fully electric EV or something, and that's just not what we need. No, I think I have some faith this time. I think it's gonna make at least 800 horsepower. Oh, it's like that. So the brand new C8 Corvette ZR1 has finally been unveiled, and I was there this time. Side note, I am in a hotel room right now, so I'm kind of keeping my voice down to respect my neighbors. So I am a little late to the party on this one. The unveil was last night in Miami. I am currently in Pittsburgh, so I got a lot going on. I'm going to talk about the unveil experience in person, what I think about the unveil, how it was done, and also how crazy this freaking car is. This is by far one of the craziest American cars ever produced. But Chevy actually had to unveil this car now, while they're still sort of in development, because they couldn't finish the development with the camo still on the car. So they want to do their top speed runs. They want to do all this other development, but they have to take the camo off to get the true numbers of everything, like the top speed, which is expected to be somewhere around 215 miles an hour. I knew it was going to be a fast car, but it completely went beyond my expectation. This car makes over 1,000 horsepower and over 800 foot-pounds of torque. And something that I was not expecting either is that they used the flat plane crank engine. Because obviously we were expecting forced induction like a supercharger or twin turbos, and they went with twin turbos. Massive twin turbos. Oh yeah, by the way, the engine's called the Gemini engine, and they have these little Easter eggs of rockets all over it. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, the turbos, I believe, are 76mm turbos on an OEM factory car. Which is amazing. And I also, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you guys an interview with the president of General Motors. Chevy was actually kind enough to bring me to the unveil early, so I saw the car early and I could talk to him before everything. So that'll be at the end of this video, but back to the breakdown. So let's talk numbers. 1,064 crank horsepower, 1,200 pounds of downforce with 828 foot-pounds of torque and an 8,000 RPM red line. So high red line, twin turbos, an absolute symphony of destruction. So basically we're all getting anxious. We really want to see the car. We see the motor on the stand, which is incredible. It's an absolutely beautiful engine, and it was really phenomenal to see the lifeline of the C8 all the way down. The Stingray engine, the Z06 engine, and now this engine. And also the E-Ray with its electric powertrain. The E-Ray is pretty cool. I still haven't gotten to drive one yet, but it's all-wheel drive, and I absolutely love to. We get there, we get in our seats, and we hear it in the distance. We hear the car in the distance, and instead of them just like pulling it onto the stage, they go around the track first, live stream it. We can hear it in the distance, and then he just pulls it up on stage, and there we have it. The C8 ZR1 is literally a step above the Z06, but much bigger than I expected. The Z07 package of the Z06 is no joke. It is such a phenomenal driving car, so I cannot imagine what this one's going to feel like, which Chevy, please call me. I really want to drive it now. But I absolutely love that they drove these cars for us to see in person in action. So after the presentation was over, they drove them out and did some flybys for us, and it is just chef's kiss. I think what's really funny is the wing that they have on the Aero package is the same wing that they've been using on the C8 race car this entire time, but it's been right under our noses. The design worked, so they put it on the ZR1 as well.
You know, it's like the perfect blend of a cool aesthetic and a function. And we've actually been using it on the race car for the last couple of seasons.
I mean, it makes perfect common sense. So the engine of the ZR1, it's actually closely related to the Z06's engine. Forged pistons make it a little bit stronger, and there's all new heads on the LT7 as well. I think a lot of people were expecting them to go cross-plane crank, but in the Z06 engine, because that's what Ford did with the Voodoo engine to the GT500. The GT350 was flat plane crank 5.2 liter, but it was naturally aspirated. When they went to the GT500, they went to cross-plane crank to reduce some of that vibration. Chevy just was like, we gotta figure this out, you know? They're like, we have to have a twin turbo flat plane crank and we're gonna make it happen. So kudos to them. If you don't know, the Z06's engine had almost nothing in relation to the Stingray engine. It was truly its own engine. It's not like they put a flat plane crank in the Stingray engine and just called it a day. They truly developed a brand new engine. So really cool stuff there. Also, one of Corvette's lead designers is finally retiring, and he's been there over 40 years, and he's an unbelievably nice guy. Well, they are actually putting little Easter eggs in some of the additions of his face. I can't remember off the top of my head where in the car, but it's gonna be in the car, which I think is so cool and so honorable and just really makes my heart warm. It's just awesome.
It'll be on the rear window and on the front tunnel reinforcement panel right underneath the nose of the car for 25 and beyond. So that's
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Appreciate that.
huge deal.
Okay, so let's talk about, you know, everyone's major concern. It's the pricing, where a lot of people are asking me, you know, very much in the Mustang know-how, what does this compare to the GTD? But the GTD is an amazing car. I actually got to see them get built at Multimatic. I just didn't film in there for obvious reasons. It was very secretive, so I didn't want to like push any buttons. But the GTD is a boutique car, right? It's fully carbon fiber. It takes a lot of work and all that kind of stuff. You're going to see a lot less GTEs produced than ZR1s produced. Performance-wise, not quite sure. But I will say that the ZR1 is very impressive. I have to say it. The packaging of the motor in the back and it using the mid-engine setup, it was smart. It was smart of them to do something like this in the mid-engine platform. But my guess is gonna be over 200,000, probably obviously, but with dealer markups, there's nowhere to know. You know, the GTD Mustang is 350,000, right? It's already out of the price range of the theoretical price range of the ZR1. But I would not be surprised if dealerships tried to charge like 300,000 for this car. Would not be surprised at all. But at the end of the day, this is the most powerful Corvette ever built. But then at the same time, I asked this to GM's president, to myself on the way there for the unveil. I said, wait, is the C8 the most variable Corvette ever made? You have the Stingray with the more traditional pushrod V8. Then you have the E-Ray, which is the electric hybrid. Then you have the Z06 with a naturally aspirated flat plane crank. And then you have the ZR1 with the twin turbo flat plane crank. So you have like completely different cars. They drive completely different. The C8 Stingray drives completely different than the C8 Z06. And the E-Ray is all-wheel drive. It's an all-wheel drive Corvette, so that's really neat too. Put it down in the comment section below what you guys so far think of the C8 ZR1. I'm gonna let the rest of this video be the interview I got thanks to Chevy, so here's that. All right, mind introducing yourself to everybody real quick?
Yeah, I'm Mark Royce. I'm president of General Motors.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for meeting with me.
Thank you.
It was very
Thank you
short
for having me.
notice.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, do you want to talk to the man himself? I'm like, absolutely,
No,
I'd love to. Because
not the man.
I think so, because this kind of project is so cool to me. You have to be excited about unveiling this.
Oh my
today.
gosh, are you kidding me? This is
Yeah.
like, we don't, you know, cars don't get unveiled like they used to either, you know.
Right,
I've been around
right.
a while, so those are kind of exciting things, but they don't really, you know, it's hard to reach a lot of people, and so you really help us reach a lot of people in a
Sure.
very good way. So that's a great thing, and so tonight we're kind of doing both, which is really cool.
You know, I'm very excited, but first impression, first, it looks incredible.
Thank you.
Second, I guess while I have you, I would love to look at the engine
Yeah,
really quick.
sure. This is the Gemini LT7. Twin turbo, you can see the turbos where they're packaged off the side of it here. There's a split new intake, and there's dual fuel fed to this. So there's it takes a lot of fuel to get that kind of horsepower out of it, which,
Yeah.
you know, 1,064 and then, you know, 828 foot-pounds of torque. So at 8,000 RPM and 6,000 RPM respectively. So, you know, we're really proud of this. And this was architected into the original 5.5 liter flat plane crank when we did the Z06. So there was a progression that we worked on, and we worked on the car itself, because, you know, you have to you have to really design this car for these powertrains and delivery from day one. But this engine in particular, there's some cool stuff on it. I mean, see that little rocket right there?
Yeah.
That's the Gemini, and the reason why it's called Gemini is because of the twin turbos.
Oh, okay.
So,
makes sense.
So yeah, kind of cool. And that way, we could always talk about it in code and not give away what we're doing. So,
sure.
But anyway, this thing it pulls. It's hand built, but it pulls like there's no tomorrow. We're out here driving on the track, and it's just like the track is not long enough.
Oh, that's amazing. I think the biggest surprise, I knew the motor was going to be badass. Like, you kind of knew, but at the same time, I think even with people kind of suspecting everything, I don't think they were expecting 1,000 crank right off the rip.
No.
Right? I mean,
pump gas.
Pump gas.
Right. Pump
That's
gas.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like
and no race fuel. No.
85
no,
ethanol.
Yeah.
No, just go to the pump.
And none of this stuff is like, oh my God, it rides like a brick. Or
right.
I can drive an E-Ray all winter. That's what I do.
Right.
So you can do all that, and it's attainable, right? I mean, it's attainable. And the other thing a lot of people don't understand is that we do all of this in-house in General Motors. This is not farmed out. It's built in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's our engineers doing it. It's us. So, because we've got great people, and it all gets down to people, right? They really integrated the car. So that's what they did. They make it steer, they make it brake, they make it comfortable, they make it, track capable. They do the thermal development for us. They do all that, and so it's really cool. So I enjoy driving with them. We take these to the Nürburgring on the North Course, every one of these.
I think this is a fun question. I'll make it kind of the last question is, when did the development of this car start? Like, what year did it actually start? Do you know?
About it. I don't know. I got to think about it because we're into year 5 of the car.
Right.
Yeah. So
right.
the Stingray was probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years before that.
Yeah.
And so we made the first car. This is funny because I used to run Holden in Australia, right?
Right.
So,
down under, it's awesome.
So the first mule that we built with this architecture and car, disguised it as a Holden Ute, which is a small.
Yep, the pickup, the baby El Camino thing we never got, which makes me sad.
Me too. But anyway, we took that car, and that was the first C8.
Clever.
Isn't that
That's
cool?
super
no one
clever.
knew what it was and all that, so it was cool.
Yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I had a great time talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
I love the engine. I love everything, and
it's a work of art. It really
I'm
is.
really excited to see the unveil officially.
Good.
I'm here before. I'm not supposed to know, but yeah, thank you again. Seriously,
Thank you.
pleasure.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I am unbelievably impressed so far. I cannot wait for the day I hopefully get my butt in the seat of one of these things. I don't know. Cars like the GTD, cars like the ZR1, they kind of make me proud that these come out of America. And I know that sounds very silly, but from the reputation of American cars 20, 30 years ago to the rest of the world, we just weren't there. You know what I mean? Like, people always said American cars sucked. They weren't great. They didn't handle well. It just makes me so happy that it feels like we're at the pinnacle of American cars. And that goes for all the big three. But the ZR1, I mean, I don't even know. Like, as of right now on paper, how do you beat this thing? It's gonna be tough for the other two big brands, big American brands. So we'll find out. On that note, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.